Hey friends, welcome back to the vlog. It has been a hot minute since I uploaded to my main channel. In truth, I've kind of just allowed myself to get wrapped up in the city a little bit, wrapped up in our new routines, our new neighbourhood. I'm also at a point in my research where I'm slightly overwhelmed by the number of tasks on my to-do list, and that low-level state of constant fear and anxiety around the prospect of creating original knowledge, aka doing a PhD, well, it kind of hits different. It's not exactly the ripest environment for creative thinking. On Sundays though, Sundays in New York City are pretty special. Somehow on Sundays I can put my PhD fear on hold and feel renewed at the prospect of a new week. One of my favourite literary heroines, Anne of Green Gables, says, "Isn't it nice to think that tomorrow is a new day with no mistakes in it?" And that is kind of how I feel on Sundays. Tomorrow is a new day, it is a clean slate, and while planning and scheduling isn't the most exciting or glamorous video topic, my Sunday schedule ritual has become a real power move in my week, and when I make time for it, my week tends to go relatively smoothly. So I hope you will allow me to share with you some very simple, not at all groundbreaking practices that have become part of my planning routine as I endeavour to make time for all of the things I love in life: my research, my career as a teacher, and creating content. So here we go. Tip number 1. Your calendar is your Bible. Whether you use a specific calendar app or even a trusty old paper planner, the medium itself doesn't matter. What matters only is that you stick to it and you use it consistently. Religiously, one might even say. You could have the prettiest looking calendar in the world or the most aesthetically pleasing Notion dashboard, but if you're not using it daily, putting in events as they arise, noting schedule changes as the events or lectures or meeting details evolve, it doesn't mean diddly squat, and you'll end up wasting a lot of time trawling through your emails and messages in a hot sweat, trying to find event details a little bit too close to the event than is probably comfortable. So do yourself a favour, use a calendar app and stick to it. Personally speaking, as an iOS ecosystem user, the calendar function in my Google email accounts sync up really nicely with my iCal app on my desktop, and that itself syncs immediately to my phone, so that's a system that I prefer. Tip number 2, you need to establish a set time or a routine for planning your weekly schedule in advance of your week. While I manage my monthly and yearly events using the system just described on a weekly basis, I prefer to use Notion. Every Sunday afternoon, I make myself a cup of tea, sit down at my desk, and I spend around 45 minutes to an hour planning out my week, almost down to the hour. One of my sayings for 2022 was hard life now, easy life later. And while I do like to spend most of my Sunday with my friends, my husband, my family, and not necessarily in front of my computer, this simple step of making the time to plan ahead allows me to make the absolute most of every day. When I don't do this planning on a Sunday and Monday arrives, I find myself chasing my tail every single day and not feeling good about how I use my time. Put an hour aside over the weekend, really sit with the task of how you want to spend your week and set yourself up for success for the week ahead. Tip number 3, if you use Notion, make use of the template button to save time each week when planning. You can see my Notion dashboard here, and right at the very top is a template button. Within this pre-made template, I have all the things I need for a typical week, and they are my top 3 tasks, an affirmation space, to calm my monkey brain down, and then a block that shows my week in a timetable format. And within this template button and in this timetable, I have already put in the things that are the same each week. For example, my teaching hours or my choir rehearsal schedules. And then as certain things crop up from one week to the next, I will add them to the weekly schedule and edit it accordingly. So basically, in summary, when a new week is approaching, I will drag last week's schedule into this weekly log, which acts as a kind of archival space for previous weeks. I'll click on the template button to generate a new weekly schedule setup, and then I'll review all of my events in my Google Calendars and make adjustments accordingly. Tip number 4, double check your most recent Instagram or WhatsApp messages. Because I have the attention span of a goldfish, while I do endeavour to record every new event as it crops up in my Google calendars, inevitably I do miss an invitation or two, whether that's coffee plans that were casually made over an Instagram message, or a workshop that I read about online and saved it in my Notion and not in my Google calendars. And so by reviewing my social media platform messages and even just surveying my most recent emails from the last 7 days, I give myself that opportunity to catch anything that I might have missed and thus save myself from any potential headaches during the week. And lastly, tip number 5. Again, if you use Notion, have a tasks list close at hand. Now, if you're not sure what I'm referring to, you can check out how I structure my Notion by watching this previous video I made about the platform. I'll link it above and also in the description box below. But basically, the reason why I plan my day-to-day and my week in Notion and not in Google Calendar is because I use Notion to plan every pillar in my life and every project attached to these pillars in my life. Basically, each project, whether that be a lesson plan or a conference paper or a literature review, is basically made up of a series of tasks that I need to do. I have a master tasks database within my Notion. Again, you can learn more about it by watching that previous video, but basically within my dashboard, I create a view of this tasks database underneath my weekly schedule, and I set a couple of filters on it. So that I don't see everything that I have to do across all areas of my life, because that would be terrifying. The first filter is that I set the date parameters to what needs to be done over the next 7 days, and also what was done in the previous 7 days in case there was anything that I missed. And the second filter that I use is that I only want to see what it is I haven't done yet. And voila, I have in front of me the tasks that are most urgent for the next 7 days across the main pillars of my life. I just find that this system works so well for me, and I reiterate as I come to the end of the video that while these tips are definitely not groundbreaking or revolutionary, it's often the simple things that can be the most powerful. So I hope that by sharing these tips with you, I've inspired you to reflect upon your own weekly planning schedule and perhaps offered you a tip or two to incorporate into your own workflow. I'm such a nerd about Notion. It really has helped me manage my life so bloody well. So if you're interested in a more in-depth look at how I use Notion to manage my PhD, my content creation, my teaching, then let me know in the comments below. If you found this video helpful or you got value from it, please give it a thumbs up. It really helps my channel. And until I see you in the next one, thank you so much for spending your time with me. Take care of yourself and be kind to yourself. And I'll see you again soon. Bye, friends.